everyone. Welcome back. We are here for our last session of the conference, believe it or not. And those of you that know me know I love prevention. So I'd like to say we saved the best for last, but this has been a wonderful conference. So I can't really say that, but I hope that you'll enjoy this prevention section. Today we are going to present some of the projects done by youth across the state of Maryland on problem gambling prevention, and talk a little bit about, and you will see why it's important for the peers to educate their peers on problem gambling. And today we have with us Miss Christine Smith. She is the school social worker at Meade High School and also the Students Against Destructive Decisions, otherwise known as SAD, program club advisor. And we also have Princess Merritt. Congratulations, Princess. She just graduated from high school. She was the SAD president at Meade High School. So we welcome her back to disrupt her summer to present here at the conference. And we also have Miss Tanya Banks, who is the president of iLaunch iLand. And she's going to show us some of the strategies that she's done this year for problem gambling prevention with youth. And Naja Banks has created a video working with iLaunch iLand. And she worked with Ian Dennis, who unfortunately can't be here with us today. But Naja will walk us through the creation of their video, and Tanya will talk about their other strategies. So very quickly, before we get started, our program in prevention now is pretty much solely based on community grants. So we do give grants, like I talked about earlier during the Prevention Award. We give grants to community organizations to try to prevent problem gambling among special populations. And then we also have our youth grant grantees. Now this year we didn't do specific youth grantees because one, we had a funding cut, so we had to make a decision about what was the best way to use the funds that we had. And since the schools really weren't up and running in the fall, we figured that we would wait again till the school year coming up. So we would like to say that we will be doing youth grants again this school year coming up. But I do want to recognize the grantees of our youth grantees of the past. Most of them only received $1,000 to do some of the projects that you'll see today. So we had Annapolis High School and Archbishop Spalding and Meade High School in Anne Arundel County. We had First Impressions, which is a youth organization in Prince George's County. We had God's Perfect Will Ministries, which was also a youth group in Anne Arundel County. And we had the Anne Arundel County Mental Health Agency. We had Ascending Counseling Solutions, who did a program in Baltimore with the youth. We had Violetville Elementary Middle School, and also Delta Research and Educational, or the Delta Sorority, did projects in Baltimore City. So currently our projects were only in Anne Arundel, Prince George's, and Baltimore City, but we are looking to expand this year to other counties. So we would like to talk to you about the opportunity for youth grants with your school or organization. Now, I said we didn't do youth grants specifically this year, but we did incorporate youth projects into some of our grantee special population grants. So I do want to acknowledge today Area Health Education Center West out of Cumberland and Allegheny County, our first grantee in Western Maryland. We are very happy to have them on board. They did a great job this year, and I will show you a little bit of what they did. We also have the Black Mental Health Alliance out of Baltimore City that is currently working on a youth project. And I do have some preliminary things to show you, but they are currently still working on their project. iLaunch iLand, Tanya and Naja will talk to you and tell you about what they did this year. And then also the National Alliance on Mental Illness Prince George's County is going to be doing a poster contest over in the Oxon Hill area. So we're happy to work with them. And then the Youth Empowerment Source out of Cecil County has also worked with us this year to incorporate problem gambling prevention into their strategies for basically drug-free communities grant that they received. So now I'm going to show you some of the projects that were done. So this was not from this fiscal year, but last fiscal year. Annapolis High School did a poster contest. So this was pre-COVID. And they actually had their SAD chapter partner with the art club. So they were able to educate the art club members on problem gambling and have them design the posters. So they came out really nicely. The posters were displayed in the school hallways. They also did morning announcements over the intercom in their school. And they also used the hallway monitors to put up kind of like some PowerPoint slides with problem gambling awareness and prevention messages. And they designed the Kahoot game, which is a very popular game among our youth these days. And if you don't know what it is, Meade High School today is going to, Princess Merritt's going to present how the Kahoot game that Meade did. So you'll get to get a taste for that. First Impressions Enterprises out of Prince George's County did a social media campaign designed for youth by youth. And they also did a bowl-a-thon where they had materials on problem gambling awareness displayed and other community events. This also was done pre-COVID. Now, this is the Area Health Education Center West. I thought it was great that they promoted their contest for high school youth through a YouTube video. So they did a little bit of education on the video, and then they invited the students to create their own prevention strategy. This is the Black Mental Health Alliance, some of their preliminary flyers, and they are going to do an education for their youth, train them on problem gambling awareness and prevention. And then they are also going to have them do a flyer competition where the students and youth design flyers. And the Youth Empowerment Source out of Cecil County, they designed a social media campaign, which was Gambling Starts with Gaming, just to highlight the risk of the gateway between gaming to gambling. And they're hopeful they'll be able to use this on a billboard, but if they don't, they've been able to promote it through social media. And then when the classroom started to open up again, here in the spring, they were able to do some education to different classes on problem gambling. So as you can see, the students are socially distanced. They are wearing masks there. So I just find our grantees amazing that they were able to get the work done that they could do during this pandemic year. So I do applaud them all. And now I would like to turn it over to Mrs. Christine Smith and Princess Merritt from Meade High School, and they're going to talk about their problem gambling prevention strategies through the SAD chapter at Meade High School. So Mrs. Smith and Princess, welcome.
Hi everyone again. My name is Christine Smith, and I am a clinical social worker with Anne Arundel County Public Schools. I work specifically at Meade Senior High School, and I am the advisor for the SAD Club. We were very excited when Ms. Eshelman approached Meade's SAD chapter and offered us a youth grant in 2019. Our SAD chapter president, Princess Merritt, who you will meet soon, jumped in to write, cast, and produce this PSA to educate youth on problem gambling. The SAD Club at Meade felt this was an important topic to take on since problem gambling can start in high school with sports betting and gaming, playing video games. The school is also located near Live Casino at Arundel Mills, so we thought this was especially important to educate our youth. In order to obtain the grant in 2019, the SAD Club hosted Ms. Eshelman to speak on problem gambling and prevention to our school's PTSA. We also did the same presentation in all of our health classes in the school year 2019 into 2020. We did a PowerPoint, gave away stress balls and water bottles to all our health classes as well. Lastly, the club produced this PSA, and they showed the PSA at actually 2 of our SAD symposiums. First was in person at Anne Arundel Medical Center, and then the second one this year obviously was during COVID, so it was presented virtually again to the SAD symposium, but virtually. So now I'm going to turn it over to our amazing SAD Club president, who recently graduated and will be leaving for college in the fall. So I'm going to turn it over to Miss Princess Merritt.
Hi, everyone. As I was introduced before by my amazing advisor, I'm Princess Merritt, and I am the president of the SAD chapter at my school. So making the PSA was a lot of fun, but it was also very difficult, and I learned a lot. I learned that being a leader is not just about dictation, but it's about advocacy and support and help. And it was a ton of fun because I was doing it with my friends and with my club, and Ms. Smith was helping us every step of the way. And it was also really cool to see that we were helping kids our age, because this affects everyone. And especially with the casino being around the corner, it affects us really dramatically. And the casino gives a lot of money to our school, so the opinions of the casino are very positive, and sometimes the damaging effects of the casino can be neglected. So I think having the PSA and showing the PSA to students and showing the PSA to teachers and faculty and staff just reminded them that with power comes great responsibility, and with the casino being close by, it's our responsibility as students and as members of the community to inform and educate. Okay.
Princess, do you want to tell us about the making of the PSA? What it took to make the PSA?
A lot of time. I had to do a couple of hours of research, and I had to really buckle down with a few of our club members. So Imani, Mikhail, Chioma are some of the people in the club who really helped dramatically with the PSA. They brought me information, and then we looked over it, and I had to write it. And as we were making the PSA, we're teenagers, so we mess up and we like to joke and play around. So it took us a lot of takes and a lot of time, and we did miss class, so we might have taken a little longer than necessary. But there's a couple of scenes in there, one in particular involving Fruit Loops, but y'all will see that later, where we wanted to make sure the PSA was fun and educational. And I had a lot of fun making it with my friends. And we also got to use some of our tools we learned in school. For example, our editor learned editing in his films class, his IB films class. So we were able to utilize skills that we all had and just have a ton of fun. It was a lot of fun, and it was one of the highlights of my high school career, 100%.
All right, are we ready to show the PSA?
I think we are.
Okay.
I hope you guys enjoy.
I'm Imani Burke, and with me is my co-host, Princess Merritt.
And we're here to talk to you about teen gambling.
Did you know between 60 to 80% of high school students report gambling money over the past year? 4 to 6% of these students are addicted to gambling. But even if they aren't addicted, 6 to 8% at risk of developing a serious gambling problem, or they begin to show signs of losing control.
This may not sound like a lot, but you have to remember there are nearly 17 million 15 to 18-year-olds in the United States. So that's about 680,000 to 1,020,000 teenagers that are addicted to gambling.
More importantly, there are different types of gambling that you should be aware of. And to talk more about that, we have with us Yasmin Boj, and she's going to help us take a closer look.
Hi, my name is Yasmin Boj, and I'm here to talk about the different types of gambling. Gambling can be social or pathological. Social gambling is the most common among teenagers because it is the type of betting that occurs during sports events or as incentives for challenges like eating a raw egg or doing 100 push-ups. Pathological gambling is what you guys described before. People that are addicted to gambling. So they engage in activities that can lead to debts and tend to impact their lives past the time that they engaged in gambling. This is why it is important to keep the following rules in mind. Play with a set amount of money. Remember that once the money is gone, it's gone. No IOUs, regardless if they are friends or family. These rules can prevent addiction and owing large amounts of money.
Okay, so is it considered social gambling if I play with high stakes?
No, quite the opposite actually. You should avoid playing with high-stake games with large pots amount of money.
So, can you tell us a bit more about pathological gambling?
Well, if you believe that you or someone may have a gambling problem, a few signs are liking the rush felt while gambling, taking money. I can't see the cue cards.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. But I'm sorry.
Making desperate attempts to stay in the game by writing IOUs or betting strange items like shoes, jewelry, or clothes. It is important to be aware of the signs since high schoolers have twice the rate in gambling problems as adults.
Wow, thank you so much for coming and giving some knowledge to the Information Station.
All right. Thank you, Princess. Okay.
And now we're going to go to the Kahoot.
Yes.
Cool beans. Okay. So to log on to the Kahoot, you're going to go online to kahoot.it, www.kahoot.it. And Miss Eshelman will bring up a browser where you can enter a game code.
So if everyone could enter the game code. So if you have your cell phone, go to www.kahoot.it and it will ask for a passcode. So then you need to enter the game PIN.
Heather, what is the game pin that everyone needs to enter?
Yeah.
I think you need to share your screen.
Oh, I didn't share it? I'm sorry.
You can also read it out loud if you want, and we can put it in the chat for everyone to see.
Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, we can see
Sorry
it.
about that. I have no tech. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to go to www.kahoot.it, and when it asks for the game pin, you're going to enter it up here. And the Kahoot is just going to be a fun little quiz to see how much you guys retained from the PSA.
Thank you for your patience. This is taking a minute here. We've never played Kahoot with this many people, so it's definitely interesting.
So Kahoot.it is where you're going to want to go. .com is going to lead you to the major Kahoot site, but the Kahoot.it is going to lead you to the site that allows you to access the game pin. So if you're having trouble getting to Kahoot, try going to Kahoot.it instead of Kahoot.com. Okay. Hope that answered the question. Okay.
I'm sorry, we might not be able to wait for everyone. You can play along, just keep score on a piece of paper, you know, how many you got. And this is a tool you can use for educational purposes. If you have clients or if you're going to teach in a school or in the community, you can use Kahoot as a tool, as a teaching tool, especially with our youth, because they love it. So.
Okay, we ready?
Okay. I think we should start, yes.
Okay. What percent of teens do you think have reported gambling in the past year? Is it 60 to 80, 10 to 20, 40 to 50, or 20 to 40? $60 to $80. Majority of you guys got it. Oh, so proud. Okay. And N Banks is on top. Okay. What are the two main types of gambling? Social and disordered, social and professional, casino and disordered, or professional and relational? This one is a little harder because the terminology changed from when we did the PSA to now. So I apologize for that. Okay. 64 of you got it. I'm so proud. And we have a switch up in the leaderboard. Here we go. Thank you. Okay, next question. Who is a disordered gambler? A person who is a very intense gambler, a person who's addicted to gambling, a person who is good at lying while gambling, poker face, a person who is a strategic gambler. Very good. Correct, a person who is addicted to gambling. I will say the hardest part about Kahoot is the time crunch. Okay. And DJ is coming up. Okay, here we go. Fourth question. Who is a low-risk gambler? A person who gambles to cope with stress, a person who gambles only when high stakes are involved, a person who only gambles in a casino, or a person who gambles responsibly with money they can afford to lose. Let's see how many of you are going to get it. What, 120? Ugh. This is like a proud mom moment. Yes, that is correct. A person who gambles responsibly with money they can afford to lose. And let's see how the leaderboard is looking. Okay, staying the same. Tinka and DJ on top. Okay. True or false? Is disordered gambling considered a mental illness? Very good. Yes, it is considered a mental illness because anything that is addictive is mental illness. And the leaderboard. Oh, okay. DJ dropped from the leaderboard and Tisha's coming up. Okay. And Tinka's staying in the lead. Can anybody overtake them? Okay. True or false? Teen girls gamble more than teen boys. Who do you guys think gambles more? False. Okay. It is true. Teen boys do gamble more, but teen girls are starting to rise at that rate. So we want to do everything we can to lower the rate of gambling for all teens, not just teen boys or girls or non-binary folks. Okay. Next question. If I feel a rush or high when gambling, that makes me want to continue. That gambling is most likely low risk, a great way to relieve stress, a great way to spend some extra money, or a sign of a gambling disorder. Very good. A sign of a gambling disorder. The one thing that's making me so happy about this is you guys are like getting like more and more correct with each answer. It's just like making my heart melt. Okay. Next question. We have two more left. Or three. Two or three. Okay. True or false? Anyone is at risk to becoming addicted to gambling. Okay. You guys are right. It is true. Anybody can be at risk. And it is important to remember that because we don't want to box who we do think and don't think will be at risk because then it is harder for people to get help. Okay, next question. And Tinka is still on top. High-risk gambling can lead to financial stability, more time with family, temptation to engage in illegal activities to get more money, increased grades at school, or improving my job performance. And that is right. Temptation to engage in illegal activities. Okay, one more question. And we're gonna, okay, and the leaderboard is changing. Okay, last question. Try and get it really fast to see if the leaderboard will change. High stakes gambling is only monetary, true or false? Let's see how the leaderboard's gonna look. And it is false. Okay. And now it's going to show us who our top 5 finishers were. And they're going to have their seats on the podium. Anon came in 3rd place with 10 out of 10. CM, also a 10 out of 10. And on the top, Tinka. So the one thing about Kahoot that I will say for people, and Sophia and Terry were 4th and 5th. The one thing I will say about Kahoot for people who have not played before or don't play often is it's a speed game. So you can get like all of them correct, but you have to have that speed because your points will go down the amount of time. So for future reference, speed. Okay, that's all. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed our presentation and we will see you at the Q&A session.
Thank you, Princess. That was great. I hope everybody enjoyed that. And if that can't keep you awake this afternoon, I don't know what will. Thank you, Mrs. Smith and Princess, for presenting today. All right, now we are going to move on to Tanya Banks and Naja Banks, and they're going to talk to you today about the projects that iLaunch iLand did for problem gambling prevention. Tanya and Naja.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tanya Banks again. Thank you, Heather, for the opportunity. I am here today with Naja Banks, and unfortunately, again, Ian Dennis could not attend due to his job. But iLaunch iLand is a nonprofit organization that operates in the Baltimore City and Baltimore County areas, and we help youth, young men launch in life. We walk with them through their trajectory phase, and then we hope that they land in a purpose-driven place. So it's a coaching, mentoring, and also a self and cultural awareness program, and we are excited. We embarked on this project. One, there's a casino near Cherry Hill Elementary School where we have a program at the Horseshoe Casino. So it's very close in proximity to the school and the neighborhood. So we thought this would be a good project to share some youth gambling prevention information and also have some fun. And so we partnered with Transform a Nation and the youth clients there, as well as Cherry Hill Elementary Middle. And we presented them with backpacks and materials about gambling prevention. And last, what we're presenting in a few minutes will be the video that we created to promote awareness, not only in the local area, but across, the social media platform. So at this time, I will be speaking on what Ian shared, or would have shared, about the video creation, which he broke up into phases. So phase one is where he came and met with the board of director team members and wanted to know what did we want to present. And he also wanted to know the audience for the video, which we explained were young people. So it had to be interesting. We addressed the video content to make sure that we did not use any content that would cause someone to want to go out and gamble. We decided on the music to play in the video and what types of images to be added to the video. And then we discussed the platform to share the video. So it was posted on YouTube and shared via email, text messages, and on Instagram at iLaunch iLand. Next. So then we decided on the content. We received youth gambling data from the narrator, Naja Banks, which you'll hear from. So she did some research to gather some statistics. And then we created PowerPoint slides to show information in the video. And then we actually had to select appropriate pictures, again, following the public awareness policy and use of gambling imagery and guidelines. Last, we requested the use of iLaunch iLand logo, and since it is trademarked, and we added music as the introduction to the video. Next. Now, if you have any technical editing questions, I can take them back to Ian. So I'll simply read this part, but I know he used Adobe Premiere to create the video. He did what he called visualize the video flow from beginning to end. He used keyframing to make the logo appear and move to the opposite side of the screen. He did audio corrections and corrected the narrator's voice to become clear. He used text graphics to make certain text appeared and disappeared when needed. He presented the video draft to the president for comments and made edits and technical corrections. And then there was a recorded section where he had to re-record over one section for a better flow with the PowerPoint text. And then once the final approval for the video was completed, the video was uploaded on YouTube. And Naja will share what we use the video presentation for.
Hello, everyone. I'm Naja Banks. I am a mentor at iLaunch iLand. I have been with iLaunch iLand since the beginning, starting in 2017, and I'm super excited to be here to share this information with you guys. So I want to start. The video had 159 views and 8 subscribers. I checked the video today and it has 188 views, and we have 9 subscribers now. Even though the video was intended for youth, we did share with a lot of adults, and they were able to learn, a couple things about, youth gambling as well. So I started with statistics. When I first got the video, the information in the video, I had spoke with Tanya Banks, and I said, wait, one of these statistics isn't correct. I think it was from UK. And so I had to, review a couple of studies that were based in the United States and get that statistics and put it into the video just so it's accurate for us and our population. The youth-focused information that was provided, it was what is gambling, common gambling myths, how do you know if you have a gambling problem, and how to get help if you have a gambling problem. Thanks. So like Tanya was saying, the video was uploaded to YouTube and it was shared with iLaunch iLand mentees. It was also shared with Cherry Hill Elementary 5th graders through 8th grades. It was also shared with Transforming Nation clients as well as family and friends. So this project was the first of many projects that I will be able to participate in. It's very fulfilling to see it develop into an actual video. I was there, like I said, I was there for the beginning to see what we wanted it to look like and what we wanted it to be, and eventually to this point where we can now share the video with you all. I learned a lot, and I believe that young people learned a lot as well. And I say that because they were willing to share this video with their friends and family members as well. I think it made a difference in everyone's lives who saw it. Like I said, older adults were able to get something from the video as well as youth. And we did share it on other platforms such as Project 365. Tanya Banks can talk a little bit more about Project 365 if you would like, if you have any questions about that. And we are thankful for the opportunity to share this video with you today.
And now the video.
Do you want to get on more roofs like this so you can close even more, earn even more, and create those life-changing opportunities that you're
closed caption on this?
Hello, my name is Naja Banks, and I'm excited to share gambling prevention with you today. So, what is gambling? Gambling is taking part in any game or activity in which you risk money or a valuable object in order to win money. And for many teens, gambling is just a part of life. Betting on the outcomes of sports games, playing dice or card games for money, or even gambling on internet games. Gambling is everywhere in your life.
Here are a couple of common gambling myths. I'll just play until I win everything back. Gambling is a way to make money. Lucky Charms will help you. It's just an individual problem. Gambling is a healthy way to relax. And underage gambling is safe.
Sometimes teens believe it's a good way to make money. If they play long enough, they'll be sure to win. This simply doesn't happen. Did you know that 80% of youth between the ages of 13 and 17 have gambled at least once in the past year? Have you gambled within the past year? How do you know if you have a problem? Here are some identifying factors. You'll want to gamble all the time. You start having debt, owing money, or you'll have financial problems. Your mood changes and you have mood swings. You withdraw from your family and friends. You become more secretive. You start selling your personal items. You borrow money all the time, and you'll steal things to get money in order to gamble.
How do you get help? Go to the website for more information on gambling. While visiting the website, be sure to answer the self-assessment to determine if you have a gambling problem. If you do have a problem, speak to someone you trust about your results. The website is www.mdproblemgambling.com. 1-800-gambling-problems/ You can also call this 24/7 phone number 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-426-2537. iLaunch iLand is partnering with the Maryland Center of Excellence on Problem Gambling to present this to you.
Thank you, Heather. That's it.
Okay. Thank you, Tanya and Naja. Okay, I think that's all for the slides. Okay, and we'll take questions at this time. I'm going to go ahead and check the question box and see if there are any questions for our panelists. Let's see. Okay, sorry about the closed captioning. I want to apologize for that. It is better to have the closed captioning on for the videos, so thank you. We just had a few comments that they really enjoyed the videos and can they share them. So if we can get the links in the chat, then perhaps you know, you all can use the video, at least for iLaunch iLand. I don't think the Mead one is on a shareable link, but you know, maybe we can get that out to people. Let's see. We have one question here. What is a popular type of gambling for teens? So maybe Princess or Naja, can you answer that?
I definitely think that sports betting is super, super huge. And I think that like inter-friendship gambling, where you don't even realize it's gambling, is kind of big. Something that's like high risk. For example, like March Madness, I know a friend of mine who lost $7 grand because he and his friends were betting on their rosters, and like whoever had the best roster like won. They put like a ton of money in a pot. Originally the pot was like 10 grand a person, but when he realized that like he lost all of it, they're like, okay, we'll drop it down to 7 for all of us. But I think that like that's the problem. And like bigger problem with that wasn't that he lost all of that money. It was that he had the money to lose, but it wasn't his money. It was his parents' money. So like, and he didn't get any punishments for that. So like that type of behavior in your adult life, you can't sustain that type of betting, but you're used to it. Or like, if you get this grade or this grade on a test, or if I score higher than you, then you have to run around naked. Like things like that, that can lead to losing a lot of money, a lot of time. Or like, I know kids who have bet for drugs and alcohol. So I think that like sports betting and then like situational gambling betting with high stakes are very popular for teenagers.
Thank you, Princess. Naja, since you just kind of pretty much graduated college, did you see any gambling among like the students at college or people in your age group?
I didn't see it at my college. It may have been in the neighborhood that was near my college, but I did not personally see any. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm. Here's another question. Did any of the education to students include gambling activities to show how ineffective it is? So what types of other strategies could be used? Like I know the Maryland Lottery on their website has the odds for all the games. So showing the odds for each type of game, of the odds of winning, say a particular type of scratch-off ticket or lottery. And we can also find like the odds of winning on a slot machine or things like that. Does anybody else on the panel have any other tips for how to show how ineffective gambling is to make money?
Hi, this is Tanya. I would say that we pulled some youth from I Launch Our Land to ask them how did they perceive gambling and what were the benefits or disadvantages of gambling. And at that young age, 5th through 8th graders, they pretty much saw it in a negative light. For instance, they would say you can't pay your bills, you don't have any money, you lose friends because you can't pay them back. So they were aware of the consequences of gambling more so than how ineffective it was.
Okay, so like showcasing the negative pieces, kind of like the video, for I Launch I Land showed the theft and things like that. Because sometimes people don't connect the dots to know that they're related, right? Okay, any other comments on that one?
I think also showing how like addictions can kind of link, and like a lot of people say like marijuana is a gateway drug, but like a lot of times an addiction can be a gateway to another addiction and like spiraling. And I think that that's something that like a lot of people don't really click or put 2 and 2 together, that like you may be able to gamble or do high stakes and do things like this once or twice, but your friend might get addicted. And I think that that's something that can also work. And a thing that I don't gamble, but something that like reminded me not to, is I saw a diagram and it was like one person buys a $20 like penny thingy like every day for 10 years. Another person puts that money into a bank, and like this person had like $70,000. I'm exaggerating, but like, and that person had like no money because they threw it all away on the like scratchies. So like, if you're a money oriented person, like I am, so like I think money, I'm like, why wouldn't I keep the money and then gain a ton of money versus like throwing it away on a chance to win a lot of money? So I think like it just depends. And sometimes when talking to children, I forget, because I'm not a child, but like I forget that everybody's oriented differently. So sometimes the strategy has to be different. So like for me, reminding me like how much money I'm losing or winning is like helps me to not want to gamble. But for other people, the fear of addiction or reminding them or relating it to real life or seeing somebody else and their experience can be effective. So I think that remembering that like different types of things will work for different types of students is also really important. So like having an overall presentation with a bunch of different techniques versus like one with one type of technique will probably be your most effective strategy.
Great, thank you, Princess.
I would just like to add to that. We were talking before COVID, we were hoping to do like an after school fair of sorts, where the students would come in and we would actually kind of role play that, like a pretend kind of like gaming situation or casino, and give out fake money, and then like, play a game of fish or something, and then kind of like
House of Horror.
Yeah. So then the kids would lose, the money during the activity just to kind of simulate.
And then they would have like situations of like after they lost their money, this is also what they lost like in their lives, or this is how they spiraled, or this is what happened to them.
Great. Thank you. All right. We had another question here. Are card games popular with your generation?
I would not say like when I think of card games, I think of like a deck of like with solitaire, but like things like, and this is really fitting, I have a card game here, like Cards Against Humanity, or like for the girls, like games that are kind of like adultish, but like not, are very, very popular. So like games that are kind of like not 21 blackjack or poker or things like that, but things that are interactive games, and that's like a different type of gambling. So instead, a lot of like truth or dare games are popular, or like dare or double dare games are popular within like games themselves.
Okay. Naja, you have a comment on that one? Thank you, Princess.
Yes. I was going to say card games are not specifically for my generation. However, I do know that there are a couple of apps where you can play card games online. However, you have to put in money first in order to win money. So, that's gambling too. So that's what I see, but I don't actually see, card games. It's more for the older people.
Thank you. And the trends are changing over time, right? Which leads us into our next question. So one of the middle school moms asked, should I be worried about my middle school or high school sons who constantly play video games all the time? So did you guys look at kind of some of that information on gaming to gambling? And what are your comments on that?
I do think that there is a huge link. There is a huge link, especially when you see like a 16-year-old was like the Fortnite winner 2 or 3 years ago, and he won like $3 million. So like as children, when you see someone who prospectively is your age winning a lot of money, like, or even I have a friend, he has a Fortnite account and he has a ton of skins or whatever they like get on Fortnite, and his account is worth $5,000. So he sold his account for $7,000. And that to me is like a gamble, because he didn't know how much he was going to get for it, and he didn't know if it was still going to be popular, but he was pouring a ton of money in, and then his account was worth more money. So I think it's just a matter of watching and educating, and also not letting the glorified parts of esport become consumptive, because and I think it's, as a parent, it's hard sometimes, because like you want that balance of like having fun and letting the kids have fun, but like it is important to know that like kids are gambling, and especially with esports, and it's hard to monitor esports because there's a lot of ways to put in payments, and there are a lot of secondary parties. So I think that it is something to be vigilant for, but not something that's like you're so actively looking at it like makes it hard for the kids to play, because like there's correlation and causation are different. So there is correlation, but it doesn't mean that it's like direct causation for gambling.
Okay, great. And there's whole webinars on youth gaming to gambling that are either available on our website, or you can, see one coming up there. There's a lot that are promoted. I've done a few recently. So you can reach out to me if you'd like a gaming to gambling presentation for your organization. Naja, do you have any comments on the gaming to gambling piece? And when you looked at the data, what you saw?
I definitely agree. I think that I was reading one of the questions, and it was kind of like saying it was kind of like a gateway to gambling. It's definitely preparing not students, but younger people to gamble. It's like normalizing it for them. So.
Okay. And there still needs to be, obviously more research done on the gaming to gambling link. But we do know, like, our young people said today, gaming is super popular, and there is gambling elements within some of our video games. So it does put youth at risk for gambling at a young age. All right, well, I think that is going to end our session. I want to thank our panelists. The work that you did, Meade and iLaunch iLand, incredible work, especially during a pandemic. I thank you so much for joining us today, especially our two young people that I know like maybe going to a conference isn't a priority on a Friday afternoon. But thanks again. And now I'm going to turn it over to Kristen Bell, who is our clinical manager, and she's going to introduce the video, Voices of Gambling Recovery. Kristen?
Thank you so much, Heather, and what a great segment of our conference that you guys did today. So good afternoon, I'm Kristen Bell, and I'm the clinical manager here at the center. I work with providers throughout the state of Maryland to integrate gambling screening and treatment into their current practice. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you our last segment of the day, Voices of Gambling Recovery. Today, we will hear the voices of gambling recovery from the center's certified peer recovery specialists. Peers are persons in recovery who offer their voices of support in ways that others benefit from their experience. The field of addiction would not be alive today if it were not for people in recovery moving out of the rooms and into the office. Addiction became greater recognized as a disease, and as the field became more sophisticated and allowed those already doing the work to be grandfathered in as seasoned counselors. Today, regardless of our education and licensure, we still need people with lived experience to guide those most vulnerable. And peers are that guiding voice. They are the voice of help and hope to those affected by problem gambling through their own lived experience with gambling addiction. Their voices speak to those who may be struggling with the decision to find treatment or how to tell their family about their problem. Their voices are a bridge to others in recovery and offer real-world experience navigating the recovery journey. And their voices advocate that recovery is possible. So let's take a moment now to listen to our peers who are the voices of gambling recovery.
It takes just one step to begin the road to recovery from gambling addiction. And reflecting back in my own personal experience, in the 23 years I was gambling, I never once thought about making a phone call to get help. And then once I crossed that line into disorder gambling, the only thing I could think to do was chase my losses. I couldn't fathom the idea of having to accept my losses and reconstruct my life. So the greatest advice I can give to anyone, that believes their gambling may be becoming a problem for whatever reason they're gambling, whether it's to escape life's problems or because they think it's a financial solution, is to get help right away. If they call 1-800-GAMBLER, they'll connect them with one of us, and we can introduce them to a lot of amazing resources that are available within the state of Maryland today, and to a whole new life. It gets so much better once we stop making the problem a solution.
The recovery journey may not always be smooth, but neither is addiction. I would choose the recovery journey over addiction any day. It takes a lot of hard work and dedication, but it is possible to find your path to recovery and get your life back.
Ever been really miserable or depressed, deflated, and everyone around you is laughing and goofing off and having a great time, and you think to yourself, they just have no idea. They just have no idea. Well, turned out that they were the only ones who did have an idea, who did understand me. And I surrounded myself with these people that were in recovery from problem gambling. And they helped me and held me up when I couldn't do it myself. They gave me support, they gave me love, they gave me knowledge of how you do this thing called recovery. It was incredible. Finally, I was with my own kind, with my own people, and I could see that there was a way up and a way out of this horrible mess that I'd gotten myself into.
Some people are able to choose their own paths through life, but I believe this path was chosen for me. Through my own recovery, I can now share my life experiences in order to help those struggling with addiction find their own paths to wellness. I remember I was going to go for broke by saving a large sum of money to gamble with, and through recovery, I did save that money, but not for gambling. I decided to buy camera equipment and classes to start my own photography business. Then another path opened, and I decided to walk that path. And here I am, living a dream next to the ocean, taking pictures of wildlife and landscapes and helping people find their own paths to recovery. Life couldn't be better.
Gambling gave me my wings, but took away my sky. And when everything came crashing down, I thought my life was over. Little did I know that it had just begun. I found recovery. I've done the work. I do what I say I'm going to do, and I'm where I say I'm going to be when I'm going to be there. I've got a life to live instead of a sentence to serve, and there's nothing for me that feels better. I'm trusted again. People believe me. I don't live behind a veil of secrecy. I love my life today. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
It takes just one step to begin the road to recovery from gambling addiction. In my case, it had to be a divine intervention because I refused to believe there was any other way but to chase my losses and gamble my way out of the financial mess I created for myself. It doesn't have to be that way. Cut your losses, make the phone call to 1-800-GAMBLER, and talk to someone with lived experience that can offer you a new solution. Whether it's an escape, it takes your mind off your problems, or if it's a financial solution, it just may be a problem. So make that phone call today and speak with someone that's been there and that can offer you a new solution to life. Help and hope is always available, no matter how bad it's gotten.
Hello, everyone. Again, it is the end of our day. First, I just want to say a thank you to the Center of Excellence's peers for helping to put together that Voices of Gambling Recovery video you just saw. But to go on, this concludes the 8th Annual Conference on Problem Gambling. And on behalf of the Maryland Center of Excellence staff, I'd like to thank all of our presenters today for helping to make this conference a great success. I would also want to thank all of you for joining us today, and most definitely look forward to you all joining us in the next, and actually in person next year, for the 9th Annual Conference on Problem Gambling, to be held on June 17th, 2022, again back at the BWI Marriott here in Maryland. We appreciate our continued work together to bring hope and help to those faced with the challenges of gambling addiction. Please enjoy the rest of your day and the weekend. Have a great one. Bye, everyone.